Welcome to the March edition of the Tiger Time News.
With Dr. King's departure, Miss Bobbitt has returned from her retirement. Ella Richardson and Kylie Stroman have more.
Miss Bobbitt retired at the end of last year, but has returned to get the culinary class cooking again. We spoke with Miss Bobbitt upon her arrival. What made you return to Bolivar Central?
I was asked to come back and excited about to do so. I have been subbing over at Middleton since my retirement last year, 2020, and I've loved that. But at the same token, my passion is here at Bolivar Central High School, and so I was just tickled to be asked to come back.
How is this year different from last year?
Well, I think we all know the answer to that. With the pandemic and having to wear the mask and wear gloves, and I've always been very strict about sanitation, and and making sure the students followed those safety procedures and sanitation as well. But now we have to even be extra careful, and we want everybody to know that we're following those procedures.
Do you plan on doing anything differently?
Well, once again, I have to do a lot of things different, but at the same token, I still have that same our standards that we have to follow. So I have to continue to follow those and try to see what my students and the faculty, what they would like for us to do for them, because we have luncheons once a week, and our teachers have been so supportive to that. So I just want to continue to try to do things that they want and let them be reassured that we're going to follow those procedures to keep all of that bacteria where it needs to be. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Bobbitt. Student and faculty members are excited for Ms. Bobbitt's return.
Students have shifted from the hybrid schedule to attending 4 days a week. Alexis Williams has more.
When school returned in August, precautions were taken to ensure the safety of the students, school, and community. These precautions took place as going to school either virtually or 2 days a week. February 18th, however, the students reunited and were no longer placed in groups A nor B, as they returned to school 4 days a week. I asked Mrs. Polk if she could elaborate on this. Mrs. Polk, how long will students be allowed to transfer to virtual if they no longer want to attend school in person?
So there is a deadline, and I believe the district has set next Friday, March 12th, for the students to transfer either way, either coming off campus, going to virtual, or virtual coming back to campus. So that will be March 12th.
Do you think that 4 days in person instead of 2 will be better for the students? If so, why?
We've been concerned all along without just a 2-day in-person, face-to-face with your teacher instruction, and the students having the 3 days at home, pretty much independent work. So we're excited with the students coming back those 4 days, pretty much to have that teacher interaction, that teacher instruction, so they can have immediate feedback and that sort of thing. So yes, I am for the 4-day a week of instructions for sure.
How has this school year impacted your views as a principal in having to do what is necessary, not what is wanted?
Yeah, so this has been a learning curve for me. Leadership is very interesting. Got to be ready on the dime to make a decision. So I've learned that change is inevitable, and as it comes, we have to surround ourselves with individuals that's going to pour into us and help look through different lenses, and then just making that best decision for the entire group. So that's been a major plus for me. Throughout this pandemic, we've learned a lot of great things that we're actually going to keep in place after this, and so more to come with that. So we're excited about what's to come.
How do you feel about returning back to school almost full time?
Well, I know that some individuals have trepidations as far as, being back and the fear of the impact of the pandemic. But I am excited again with, as long as we're keeping these precautionary measures in place, and we're so excited that the positivity rates of the virus is low for our community, so we're excited that we're going to be safe. Safety has been at the top of all the decisions that our director has attempted to make, and even with us. So, but coming back 4 days a week, some school systems have actually been back at the 5-day, and so yeah, we're excited, and it's going to work as long as we all do our parts. It's going to be okay. We're going to learn. We're going to build strong students and get our seniors ready for the next step, which is out in the world, and our upcoming rising 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. We're getting ready for next year, and so we're excited. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
As you can see, Mrs. Polk has very high hopes for the 4 days a week schedule. Thank you.
The girls basketball team completed their season with a loss to Millington in the district tournament. Sydney Ayler spoke with Coach Rudisil.
I talked to Coach Rudisil about the girls basketball season this year. He talked about how he would miss all of the girls, but he was looking forward to the upcoming talent that would take place next year. What are some highlights from this year's girls season?
I think the improvement over the season. We didn't have the success we wanted, but just the way the girls got along on the floor and played together. That's, as much as we could hope for and ask for this year.
What will you miss from your girls seniors this year?
Just them, having them around every day. Just the relationship that's built, the personalities, the way they brought the young girls along, we're going to miss.
Carly Daniel was named Player of the Week for Jackson Sun multiple times. What does she mean to the team this year?
I don't understand why she made that. She's really not that good. But no, she was our best player. I think one of the best players in the league. Didn't shoot enough. She could have drained more threes than the one bank shot that she made from the three. But yeah, we're going to miss her. And she was recognized in West Tennessee as one of the best players, which is a great honor.
What are some things we're looking at for next year?
Just who's going to replace the leadership of the seniors, and we've got some good young girls, and can they step up and carry it?
With the boys basketball team succeeding this year, there will be a home sub-state game in hopes of qualifying for the state tournament. Sydney talked to Coach Rudisil about this season.
I talked to Coach Rudisil about the boys basketball season so far this year. I also talked to him about TJ Woods being nominated for Mr. Basketball. Coach Rudisil, have the boys exceeded your expectations this year?
I won't say exceed because, we want to do this every year. I think they have just fulfilled what we wanted, or on that path, that road to fulfilling it.
So we have one district and region championship. Does our game plan change going against Martin Westview on Monday?
Well, we've beaten them twice, but that was earlier, and they're much better. Hopefully we're much better. Today I'm going to spend a lot of time watching game tape and see if there's any adjustments we need to make, and I'm sure they're going to make adjustments too.
How does it feel to have your very own TJ Woods to be a finalist in Mr. Basketball? Have you ever coached someone else in the same position as TJ?
The answer to the last part of that is yes. We've had actually two Mr. Basketballs. Coach Crisp, Cameron, Petey Crisp, and then Willie Kemp. Wayne Chisholm was also a finalist, and Brian Lake was a finalist. And, if TJ doesn't win it, I think he should. But if he doesn't win it, it's a great honor just being recognized across the state as one of the finalists.
We're all looking forward to the game on Monday night in hopes of going to Murfreesboro. Go Tigers.
With the spring sports season starting very soon, I interviewed the coaches about their outlooks upon the season. Coach Barnes.
How are you doing?
This is your first season being head coach. What are you looking forward to most?
Man, just seeing the kids compete and just hoping that we can, lay a foundation to build on. That's the biggest thing I would say.
With official practices starting, what's the first thing you noticed about your team?
That they really do love to compete, and that I have a lot of young players that really want to get better and really love competing with each other, and that's the biggest goal.
The last season was cut short due to COVID. Do you think your players are ready for the season ahead?
Well, right now, we got a long ways to go, but the best part about that is we're only going to get better, and even more, we're a young team with a young, inexperienced team with a young, inexperienced coach. So we're going to grow together and we're going to get better together. So that's the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to.
Thank you. Miss Emerson, are there any new precautions for the upcoming softball season?
Well, Clay, obviously, we have to accommodate to what TWSWA has said. Masks are going to be recommended, not required, but I do have neck gaiters for my team. We'll have to socially distance in our dugout, so that's going to be a factor we'll have to weigh in as we travel, and whether or not varsity and JV can be together at the same time. So a few things on the field as far as being away from the players as we have to do conferences and things, but we'll do everything necessary that we have to get to play this spring.
Who do you think will be the hardest opponent for y'all?
I'll tell you what, we're going to jump right off. Our first game is at South Gibson. They're always going to be a tough opponent inside the state. Within our district, Covington will be a matchup. This is our last year in this district, so we're hoping to finish well in it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hodge, what life lessons can be learned by playing softball?
Working as a team. You can't play softball all by yourself. Also, discipline. If you're not disciplined and consistent, you will not be a good player.
Thank you. Coach Wellons, who do you think will step up and lead the team this year?
For the boys, it's going to be Connor Emerson. He's been really diligent about getting out and playing a lot, hitting a lot of tennis balls. He's been calling out some players, getting them to come out and hit when we don't have practice, and really just motivating the team. So I look for him to be the leader of the boys. For the girls, Kylie Sherman and Ella Richardson, they both are 4-year players, and they've really stepped up, and they're working on their game. And Kylie's been super positive in practice, so I look for them to have a good season.
Who are you most excited to see improve this year?
Agustin Munoz. He was going to play last year, and then due to the pandemic, we didn't have a season. But his game has really come on, and he's increased his skill by leaps and bounds from where he was last year. So I'm excited to see what he can do on the court.
Who do you think will be the toughest team y'all play this year?
It's always Chester County. We've played teams with better individual players, but through and through, the best team is usually Chester County or Hardin. I think Hardin's down a little bit this year. I think they've lost a lot of seniors. So I looked for Chester County to be a good competition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach P and Coach B, how did y'all become the track coaches?
Hey there. So we became the track coaches for this year because we had limited individuals who were available to serve in this capacity. Therefore, we stepped up to the plate in order to keep this great sport event going. And so we're excited to be the chosen ones. I'm Coach P, and this is
Coach B.
Yes.
What are y'all's main goals for the upcoming season?
Our main goals are to form bonds with each other, to do our best, and most importantly, to win.
Which track meet are y'all most excited about?
Well, first of all, due to the fact that some of our meets have been on delay because of the impact of the pandemic, we've reached out to 3 areas. One's at USJ, the other is at Briarcrest, and we are so excited to be a part of the meets for those 2, and hopefully we can get a couple more meets in place before the season ends as we win each meet. That's what we're most excited about. Thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, the coaches have very high hopes for this season.
The boys basketball team has more than just wins to be proud of this season. Taurus Woods has been named as a finalist for Mr. Basketball. I spoke to Taurus about his recognition.
What has been your motivation this season?
State ring.
How does it feel to be nominated for Mr. Basketball?
It's a blessing. It's an honor.
What have you been doing to prepare for this season?
Working out, putting those shots, working on me.
Thank you.
Juniors were the only ones to come to school this past Tuesday to take the ACT. Kaylee Richardson and Juliana Walton asked some of these students about their ACT experience.
We interviewed 4 juniors, Mitchell Smalley, Kewan Cobb, Lexi Turner, and Katie Foster. We asked them each a question about their thoughts on the junior ACT that they took on Tuesday, March 2nd. Mitchell, what was your biggest struggle on the ACT?
Probably the time management.
Thank you. Kewan, how did you prepare for the ACT?
I had got a good night's sleep and I just tried.
Thank you.
Lexi, what are some tips you would give to next year's juniors who will take the required ACT?
Don't overanalyze the questions. Use time management. Don't let the time run out, and do not leave anything blank.
Thank you. Katie, do you plan to take the ACT again?
Yes.
What is something you want to improve on for when you take it the next time?
Probably the math portion.
Thank you.
This ACT was for every junior. They will get another free school-wide ACT in October.
It's scholarship season, and seniors are busy competing to earn some extra cash for life after high school. Sydney Ayler took advantage of this opportunity, winning the Tennessee Civics Essay Contest. Madeline Whitfield spoke with Sydney Ayler to find out more.
Sydney Ayler won the Tennessee Civics Essay Contest in late January. She was rewarded with a jumbo $500 check by Secretary of State Trey Hargett. I spoke with Sydney to find out more.
Sydney, what were the requirements to apply for this scholarship?
The requirements were you just had to write an essay and you had to just work as an official at one of the elections in either March or November.
Once you realized that you met the requirements, what did you have to do in order to earn the scholarship?
The essay consisted of just you talked about how when you worked the election, you just talked about your experience and like how it affected you and just what you plan to do with it just as you go on and go into college.
What do you plan to do with the $500 cash prize?
The cash prize they put into a Tennessee Stars account, and the account just helps pay for college. It just goes towards your tuition and books and whatever else needed.
Thank you.
Sydney plans to attend UT Knox in the fall and major in pre-med.
That's all for this edition of Tiger Time News. Our plans are to do a live news broadcast sometime in April. Pay attention to our social media for announcements. And as always, go Tigers!